Hello and welcome to a My Mini Maths video tutorial where we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting multiples of 10, 100 and 1000. This video will also help and support with the arithmetic target question 13. And so before we start, a quick reminder on multiples of 10, 100 and 1000. So if we look at multiples of 10, okay, so we're going to count up in tens really. So the first multiple of 10 is 10. The second one is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90, and that takes us up to 100, of course. Now we can then look at the multiples of 100. Okay, so 100, counting up in hundreds, 200, 300, 400, and I'm sure you can pick out the pattern you can see now. And that takes us all the way up to 1000. Okay, and then we reach our 1000, we can start looking at the multiples of 1000. So counting up in groups of 1000, 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, and so on, all the way up to 10,000. And it just continues, 11,000, 12,000, 13,000, 14,000 and so on. Okay, so that's a quick reminder on multiples. So to start things off, we're going to look at some examples of adding multiples of 10, 100 and 1000. So we'll start off with tens. So if I look at 1,465 and I'm going to add 20. Okay, now various ways to look at this. Lots of people are happy to use the two tens and add it on to the two tens here to give a final answer of 1,485. If we look at that as a column method, just to support the understanding, okay, we can see the effect the 20 has on the final answer. So we've got the 5 and 0 units is 5. Now this is the part that's going to change. We've got the 6 and the 2 tens altogether is 8 tens for 80. We bring the 400 down and the 1000 down for 1,485. So you can clearly see the impact adding the 2 tens has. And next we can look at multiple of 100. So we're going to take the 1,465 again. I'm going to add 800. Okay, so again, a lot of people mentally are quite happily just to add this on. So we can take the 800s and we can add it into the hundreds column here. Now, as we can see, there's a carryover. So just to support what that looks like when we add them using the columns. Okay. So again, we've got the 5 and the 0 units is 5. This time there's nothing in the tens or additional in the tens. 60 and nothing is 60, and this is where the impact is going to be had. We've got the 4 and the 8 at 100s, which is 1200s. So place your 2 and carry your 1000s to make 1000 here, and then we have the 2000 for a final answer of 2,265. And last of all, for addition, we can look at a multiple of 1000. So here's the 1,465 again. Could be any number, of course. And we're going to add to it 3,000. And again, here's that additional 3,000, which could be added on to the thousands column here. And again, a lot of people would just be happy to add that on to make it 4,465. Now we can look at that again in more detail using the columns. So 1,465, and I'm going to add the additional 3,000 into the thousands column. So if we have a look at the effect on the value, we've got the 5 and 0 units is 5 units, the 6 tens and the 0 tens, 60, the 400 and 0 remains as 400, and then finally this is where the impact's going to be had. We've got the 1,000 and the 3,000 to give 4,000 for a final answer of 4,465. Okay, moving on to subtraction and some examples of multiples of 10, 100 and 1,000 being subtracted. So we'll begin with a multiple of 10. So we're going to start with 5,801 and we're going to subtract, proper subtraction sign, 60. You can again do this mentally by subtracting from the tens column, but it's nice and clear illustrating the effect using the columns. Okay. So I'm going to subtract the 60. So the 1 take away the 0 remains as 1. The 0 tens take away 6 tens, so this is where the effect is going to be had, but we can't do that at the moment, so we need to borrow from the 800 to make it 700 and bring that 100 over to make 10 tens. So 10 tens minus 6 tens is 4 for 40. 7 take away the 0 is 700 and 5,000 take away 0 is 5,000 for our final answer of 5,741. And next we're going to look at a multiple of 100. So beginning with the 5,801 as our example again, we're going to subtract 700 this time, and again we'll look at that in the column, although we can see the hundreds. These are the columns that are going to be affected. So 5,801 subtract the 700. So the units, 1 take away the 0 remains 1. Nothing's happening here. 0 take away nothing, so nothing. Now, this is where the effect is going to be had in the hundreds column. 800 take away 700 is 100. And finally, 5,000 take away nothing remains 5,000 for a final answer of 5,101. And finally, on to subtracting a multiple of 1,000. So here's the 5,801 example again, and we're going to subtract 2,000. This is the column in which it's going to affect the thousands, and we'll clearly show this using the columns. So minus the 2,000, and we can see how the 5,000 and 2,000 are already lined up. So 1 take away 0 remains 1. We've got the tens, 0 take away 0 is 0. We have 800 take away 0 remains as 800, and again thousands is where the action is going to happen. So 5,000 take away 2,000 leaves us with 3,000 for a final answer of 3,801. Okay, that's everything for now. The key part is to understand which column is going to be affected and whether you're adding it on or subtracting, and watch the borrowing and watch for the carryovers. Okay, that's everything for today. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel for all the latest video news and updates. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Take care.